Picture this. You wake up in your apartment in New Rome, what we call New York today. You check your phone, but instead of English notifications, you see Latin text scrolling across your screen. The date reads, Anno Domini 2025, under the reign of Emperor Marcus Aurelius 67. You grab your morning coffee, imported from the Roman province of Ethiopia, and head to work via the magnificent subway system that puts our current infrastructure to shame. Above ground, instead of skyscrapers, you see towering Roman columns reaching toward the clouds, supporting structures that blend ancient engineering with technologies we can barely imagine. This isn't fantasy. This is what our world might look like if one pivotal moment in history had gone differently. The Roman Empire. At its height in 117 AD, it stretched from Britain to Mesopotamia, encompassing over 2 million square miles and 65 million people. For centuries, it seemed invincible, but by 476 AD, the Western Roman Empire had crumbled, leaving only the Eastern Byzantine Empire to carry the Roman legacy for another 1,000 years. But what if it hadn't? What if, instead of falling to barbarian invasions, economic collapse, and internal strife, Rome had adapted, evolved, and thrived? Let me tell you the story of a world that never was, but could have been. Our story begins in 376 AD. In our timeline, this was when the Visigoth crisis began, setting in motion the events that would eventually topple Rome. But imagine if Emperor Valens had made different choice. Instead of fighting the Goths at Adrianople, what if he had offered them full citizenship and integration into Roman society? Picture this. General Flavius Maximus, a fictional but plausible Roman leader, stands before the Senate in 378 AD. Senators, he declares, we face a choice. We can fight these barbarians until we bleed ourselves dry, or we can do what Rome has always done best, we can make them Romans. This philosophy of integration, rather than destruction, becomes the cornerstone of Rome's survival. Instead of seeing Germanic tribes as threats, they become the empire's greatest assets. With political stability secured, something remarkable happens. The Roman Empire experiences a technological renaissance centuries before our Renaissance ever occurred. By 800 AD, Roman engineers, building on their legendary infrastructure expertise, have developed steam-powered systems. The famous Roman roads now carry not just marching legions, but steam carriages moving goods and people at unprecedented speeds. The Roman postal system, already the most efficient in the ancient world, becomes a model for rapid communication that rivals our modern internet. Consider the mind of Marcus Inventius, a Roman engineer in this alternate 900 AD. He's studying the properties of magnetism, not in some medieval monastery, but in the Grand Library of Rome, which, in our timeline, houses not just scrolls, but mechanical calculators and precision instruments that wouldn't appear in our world for another 600 years. Roman concrete, already superior to modern concrete in many ways, is now being used to construct massive industrial complexes. The Romans' perfect metallurgy centuries early, leading to stronger tools, better weapons, and architectural marvels that dwarf anything we've built. But technology isn't the only thing that evolves differently. Culture does too. Christianity still rises in this timeline, but it merges more harmoniously with Roman traditions. Instead of the Dark Ages, we see the Golden Ages, a period where Roman rational thought combines with Christian ethics to create a society focused on both scientific advancement and social welfare. Slavery, which plagued the historical Roman Empire, is gradually abolished by 1000 AD, not through external pressure, but through internal evolution. Roman philosophers, influenced by Christian teachings and faced with the practical benefits of a free labor force, develop economic systems based on merit and innovation rather than bondage. Latin evolves but never dies. By our modern era, it's still spoken by over 1 billion people worldwide, creating a universal language that makes global communication seamless. Imagine walking into a tavern in Roman Britain, modern-day London, Roman Gaul, Paris, or Roman Egypt, Alexandria, and being understood everywhere. Here's where things get really interesting. With their advanced technology and stable society, the Romans reached the Americas not in 1492, but in 1200 AD. Picture Roman galleys, enhanced with steam power and superior navigation instruments, reaching the shores of what we call Mexico. But instead of conquest and disease, they bring integration and medicine. The Aztec and Inca civilizations don't fall, they become Roman provinces, their gold funding even more spectacular expansion and their knowledge adding to the Roman scientific corpus. By 1400 AD, Roman colonies stretched from Nova Scotia to Chile. Instead of the traumatic collision between old and new world cultures, we see fusion. Roman engineering builds upon Incan architectural knowledge. Aztec agricultural techniques feed Roman cities. Native American understanding of the land guides Roman expansion westward. Fast forward to today. In our timeline, we have nearly 200 different nations, each with their own languages, currencies, and conflicting interests. But in the Roman timeline, we have the Pax Romana Moderna, a world government that has lasted over 2 millennia. This isn't a tyrannical empire. By 2025 AD, the Roman system has evolved into something resembling a democratic federation. The Senate now represents not just Roman citizens, but delegates from every province worldwide. The emperor has become more of a ceremonial figure, while real power rests with elected governors and senators. Technology has advanced at an unprecedented pace. Without the millennium of regression we call the Dark Ages, human knowledge has had an extra 1,000 years to develop. Romans likely reached the moon by 1800 AD, and Mars by 1950. Climate change? Solved centuries ago through Roman engineering and their cultural emphasis on long-term planning. After all, this is a civilization that builds things to last millennia. Let me introduce you to Julia Maxima, a Roman citizen living in the province of California in 2025. She's an engineer working on the latest Roman space elevator project, a structure that will connect Earth to a space station orbiting 36,000 kilometers above the equator. Julia speaks 3 languages fluently: Latin, the global tongue; Greek, still the language of philosophy and science; and Nahuatl, the preserved language of the Aztec provinces. Her morning commute takes her through Los Angeles, except in this world, it's called Angelopolis, and features Roman architecture that makes our modern cities look primitive. She's part of a global civilization that has eliminated most diseases, ended resource scarcity through careful management and space-based mining, and created a system of governance that has maintained peace for over 1,000 years. But this Roman world isn't perfect. With such a massive, interconnected civilization, problems that arise can affect everyone. Imagine a computer virus in a world where everyone uses the same Roman-developed systems, or the political challenge of fairly representing billions of citizens across dozens of continents and planets. The Roman Empire of 2025 faces questions our Rome never had to consider. How do you maintain cultural identity across star systems? What happens when Roman colonies on Mars develop their own distinct culture? These are the growing pains of a civilization that has succeeded almost too well. In contemplating this alternate timeline, we must ask, what did we lose when Rome fell? And what did we gain? We lost 1,000 years of potential advancement. We lost the possibility of a unified human civilization that could have solved global challenges through cooperation rather than competition. We lost the chance to reach the stars centuries earlier. But we gained something too: diversity. Our world's hundreds of languages, thousands of cultures, and countless artistic traditions emerged from the chaos that followed Rome's fall. We gained the hard-won knowledge that comes from struggle, the resilience born from rebuilding after collapse. Perhaps most importantly, we gained the understanding that no empire, no matter how great, is permanent. This knowledge keeps us humble, innovative, and adaptable in ways that a successful, never-fallen Rome might not have learned. As we return to our reality, our world of diverse nations, multiple languages, and ongoing challenges, we can appreciate both what was lost and what was found in Rome's fall. The Roman Empire that never fell would have given us technological marvels, world peace, and perhaps even the stars. But the world we inherited gave us something equally valuable: the knowledge that from destruction can come renewal, that from diversity comes strength, and that the end of one great story can be the beginning of many others. So the next time you see a modern concrete structure, remember Roman engineering. When you use any democratic institution, recall Roman governance. And when you wonder what might have been, remember that history's greatest gift isn't just what happened, it's the infinite possibilities of what could still be. The Roman Empire may have fallen in our timeline, but in our imaginations, in our innovations, and in our continuing quest to build something greater than ourselves, Rome lives on. And who knows, perhaps in some parallel universe, Julia Maxima is wondering what would have happened if Rome had actually fallen, creating a messy, chaotic, but ultimately beautiful world much like our own. History is not just what was, it's the foundation for what could be.